You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Left this lies and globalists, I'm pushing them back. From the saloon to the airwaves, I'm spitting it raw. Constitution's my compass, liberty's law. Big gods creeping, shadows on the land. Feds with the schemes trying to bind up my hands. But I'm the Sherpa, guiding through the storm. Red, white, and blue, yeah, freedom's reborn. They spin their tails, but I see through the haze. Media maggots, lost in the maze. I'm calling it out, no fear in my soul. This patriot's fire ain't losing control. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Judges twisted, trying to steal our rights, but I'm locked and loaded, got them in my sights. From J6 to the border, they're selling us out. I'm screaming from the mountain, hear my rebel shout. They mock the flag, but I'm holding it high. Stars and stripes forever under God's open sky. No globalist chains gonna cage this land. I'm the Sherpa with the truth in my hand. They push their agenda, but I'm breaking the mold. Their promises empty, their hearts ice cold. Chicago's bleeding, borders torn apart. I'm fighting for the people with the warrior's heart. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. I've walked the line, 41 years, badge on the grind, now I'm on the air, my voice like a blade, cutting through the lies that the traitors made. Hurricanes rage, but we're standing tall, sheriffs of the Constitution answering the call. From the saloon to the heart of the fray, we're taking back America, no more delay. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight, torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Static, hear my voice resound. Conservative Sherpa, freedom's battleground. Berserk, Bobcat, rules will never kneel. For God and country, this fight is real.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for watching tonight, and welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Studio in Nofe, N-O-F-E, Idaho, in an actual free state. Who am I? Where am I? I am your conservative Sherpa, which means that I am guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, globalist lies, deceit, chaos, betrayal, and all of that stuff. It's my job, and I do it with great glee and gladly. Please remember what I'm about to talk about. This show is my opinion only, and of course, that of my guest. Uh-oh, look, there's a guest right there. Ooh, who could it be? I don't know. We'll talk to him in just a moment. What am I doing? I'm doing the job that the American media maggots fundamentally won't. I am changing America one leftist diaper at a time. And of course, as per natural, we don't water our drinks just like I swallowed a mosquito. Went down the wrong way. Son of a boy. Anyway, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversations. We are still serving stiff drinks right here. Got to swallow. Right here in the saloon, along with facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, clarity, tradition, and common sense for normal people. That also means that politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here in the saloon, where the speech is free, but the booze is not. And I am streaming on a whole host of places. I am not streaming live on KLRN right now. That's for Thursday night. Speaking of which, programming note. Now, in just a moment, we're going to be talking to Lonnie Poindexter, a super A number one kind of dude. And to all the people, let's go back into the chat room. And we have Mission Ready Men, and we have SHR Media. Why am I promoting myself? Canada Heavy Hall. We have NCX Group. We have a Cosmic Bard. And again, Mission Ready Men and Yerzy Yo. That's how we pronounce it in Denmark. We call him Yerzy Yo. And so welcome, and so great to see everybody here tonight. This is a wonderful day for me. And I got to tell you why. It's because a guy that I haven't spoken to in a long time is here. And that happens to be Lonnie Poindexter. So tonight I welcome back a friend as a guest who used to be a co-host on this show tons of times that we haven't heard from in a long time. And there's a reason for that. He's a great friend of the show. He's a great friend of SHR Media and a great and loyal patriotic friend of conservatives everywhere, all across the fruited plains in the United Snakes of America. Like I said, Lonnie Poindexter has co-hosted with me a ton of times in the saloon. I tried to count the number. I went back to as many shows as I could to try to count the number of appearances. I got lost at about 25 after that. And I bet it's probably in the 30s or in the 40s. And of course, this guy right here had his own show on SHR Media, Lion Chasers. Even before I got to SHR, he's had his own terrestrial radio show and any number of great shows. Of course, I am talking about the Mark I, Model 1, Essential Lonnie Poindexter, and Inspirational American Treasure. And I don't use that on very many folks. So welcome back, sir. It's great to see you.
Thank you, my brother. It's an honor and a pleasure to be sitting riding shotgun with you, man, on your wonderful show. Always exciting for me when I listen in. And when I can even contribute to your platform and all that you bring to the table. And as you know, I'm your biggest cheerleader, man, other than your beautiful bride. And it's just always a blast, man. And but you know what I wanted to ask you? How many proof was that mosquito you swallowed?
I don't know. It makes me wonder now. Wonder not, because I have my own various versions of it looks clear, so it must be water, probably potato water. I'm sure. Friends, important safety tip: don't drink while podcasting or doing any kind of live streaming. Don't do it. I'm not doing it. That's just water. And please, important safety tip from me to you. So good to have you back, Lonnie Poindexter. What I wanted to do is talk to, we've got 25 people watching live right now. Thanks to everybody. Before I forget, let me take this off and go here. If you can, folks, please subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel. Now, we were pushing 500 subscribers to SHR, and we got Lonnie Poindexter. We got 500 subscribers to the SHR Media YouTube channel. We're up to 517. It
All right.
took like a century, it seemed, to get up to 500. And then once we kind of broke that little, we were looking over the precipice at 500, and then we finally got there. And then in the past week, we got, I don't know, like 17 more subscribers. So it seems a little bit easier. So our next goal, 600. And then for all of the folks who follow me on the SHR Media BZ Saloon channel, I have 110 channels. So a few thousand more on the SHR Media Rumble channel, that wouldn't hurt me either. But the most important thing is, hey, the SHR Media YouTube channel, 517. Let's get it to 600 if we possibly can. And now that that ad has stopped for now. And oh, hey, there we go. Hopefully you can see it. Sean is in the chat room. He says, "Hey, good Lonnie. Good evening, Lonnie.
Hey,
We
what's up,
missed
brother
you,
Sean?
sir." And also now Cheetah remembers you. Cheetah used to be known a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away when I first started the show as White Mamba. He is from Florida. He is an ex-attorney. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that. Damn it, Jim. A cosmic bard, great guy, has his own show on KLRN. And also Mission Ready Men. That is Earl Biggie Jackson. And he says, also, great to see you back, sir. Oh, wait. NCX says, hey, we got 519. We picked up one just in the course of chatting here tonight. So with that, we haven't seen you around for a while. There's a reason for that. I'd like to chat with you if we could about that.
Sure.
Because I may get the date wrong. This is just right out of my brainulus. December 4th of last year,
Yeah.
you had your surgery. Did I get the day right? December 4th?
You got the date right. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'm not going to Bigfoot you because this is your story to tell, not me. 28 people watching live right now. Thanks to everybody. So something significant and kind of life-changing and life-altering occurred on that date. If you could let everybody know, please.
Yeah, how do I sum it up? Those of you that know me well, BZ, Mr. NCX Group. I had my walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It's the best way to term it when people were asking me to explain what took place. So December of last year, I had major open heart surgery. What I thought was just going to be like getting my teeth clean, turned into a full rebuild of my ticker. So I went in thinking there was going to be a couple things they were going to address. They got in there and they found a host of other things. And so when they got through, they did a full rebuild. And so I've got for all intents and purposes, a new ticker, and with some advanced hardware. I've learned so much, BZ, from this whole ordeal. I won't go into everything because it'd be a whole nother show just for that. But I learned how far medical technology has moved forward and some amazing things that they can do, some scary things that they can do. And I remember as I was having one of the procedures done, and they, how do I do this without jumping around too much? Well, I'll just go down the path. After I had my surgery, they discovered that one of the things they fixed, they needed to go back in there. And then they needed to do, I think they called it a cardiac version, I think it's called. It's basically where they go in and they jumpstart your heart. So, where they go
Okay.
clear, and and literally, they don't put paddles on you, but whatever they do, it's like those ambulance movies you've seen where they, you know, shock somebody back into life. And I had the equivalent done, but I'm watching them do this before they put me under. And
Okay, you're awake when this happens.
yes. So I'm awake for when it's taking place. So when they tell me, hey, yeah, we got to go back and blah, 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 blah. So I'm okay. So I'm fully expecting to go back into the operating room. But no, they addressed me right there in my room. Next thing I know, lights come on overhead. A bunch of white coats come in, nurses, anesthesiologists. And I don't know who they all are. I recognize maybe one or two people. And so I'm watching them work on me while I'm awake. And
That's gotta be a little I can't
yes,
really call it creepy, but sort of life altering.
what comes to mind? I've been watching, remember Young Frankenstein, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hit movie, once in rerun online. And I've been watching it the last few days, snippets from it. Hilarious movie, even today. And it reminded me of that movie. But basically, I'm laying on the table, on my back, and they got all this stuff connected to me. There's wires going here and there. Some of the stuff is wireless. And then there's monitors all around me. And they're talking hospitalese or doctorese or nurseese. I don't know what they're talking about. And they're dialing me in. They're fine tuning me while I'm awake.
Dialing.
No. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, bro, that's basically what it was like. And they're dialing me in, and I can't feel anything. Here and there, I feel a little bit, no pain. I feel a little bit. So whatever they're doing, if they needed to adjust it more, they did that, and I can feel a difference. But it was to get my heart back in the right rhythm. So they're doing that, and then they said, okay, this last thing we got to do, we got to put you under for that. I said, okay, so when are you guys going to do that? So while they're telling me,
You're awake, you're not under, you're not open. This
no,
is before.
this is after the major surgery.
Oh,
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Afterwards.
Okay, I
Yeah.
fucked that up.
Yeah. So it's after the surgery. And so they got to fine tune me to get my heart back in the right rhythm. So as I'm laying there and they say that, well, we got to put you under for that part. And I'm waiting for them to put me under. Well, the anesthesiologist was there. So they had an IV in me anyway. So they put me under. I didn't realize it. So then I wake up, I guess, about 5-10 minutes later. And it was very quick. And so I go, okay, so when are you guys going to start? And so we're already done, Mr. Poindexter. So all the white coats file out of the room. The monitors shut down. Everything goes off except the stuff they had connected to me, that monitors me to make sure I'm okay.
Right.
And they're out of there. They're off to the next patient. I said, this is amazing. So I got a chance to see the best of healthcare, and then also witness some of the negative sides of today's modern healthcare.
So what you're saying is you don't want to hear somebody in that room say something similar to, oh shit, the Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those moments like, yeah.
Oh, fuck, the Wi-Fi is out. Oh shit, no Bluetooth.
So it was really interesting. Really interesting. I will say overall it was a positive experience because I'm still here. Some things I didn't cotton to, and I'm a guy and I like running my own show and chart my own course, and you have no control over anything. They've got you and they can do what they want with you. I didn't like that part, but I went to one of the top facilities in the nation, and in particular on the West Coast. So I was really happy about that.
That's what I told you. And it's true, folks. Oh, shit, I didn't know my dog was in here.
Yeah.
He's under the desk. I may have to let him out. He might have to go. Anyway, the cool thing about this is that Lonnie went to Mercy, downtown Sacramento. And if you're not familiar with California or the Mercy system, always spell it with a K, but M gets spelled with an M. Okay.
Right.
The Mercy system has one of the finest cardiac care units on the entire damn West Coast. And
Yep.
that's where Lonnie went. So that was way cool.
Way cool, brother. And I would like to be able to say that I planned it. I was clueless. This stuff was all new to me, man. I just, I'm a God-fearing man, and it was like the Lord just hooked it up for me. And the experts that came in, the surgeon that I had was a top shelf surgeon, and he was so good. He teaches classes at one of the major universities in the Sacramento area, and he came and worked on me, and the guy has a sense of humor too. It's another story about some of the things he shared with me as we're going through the work. Well, I'll also share this. So when they're diagnosing me, they had to re-diagnose me because some times it had elapsed. And he says, well, I want to know how you're doing, Lonnie. He said, well, I'm doing okay considering. I know I got these issues that need to be taken care of. And he says, yeah. And he says, well, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. He says, really? Because he had looked at my recent vitals, right? And from what he's looking at, I'm thinking he's having an oh shit moment, right? He's just not saying it, right? He's looking at my vitals. You're okay? I said, well, no, I'm not okay, but I'm all right, And so then he points out the window. You see that park over there? I go, yeah, doc. He says, could you walk through that park? I said, yeah. You could walk through the entire park from one end to the other. That's about a block long. I go, yeah. He said, really? And I said, well, the caveat is it would take me some time to get through there and I'd have to stop a few times.
Yeah.
And he goes, uh-huh. And so he tells me what they found. And then he says to me, he says, well, we know about the stuff we originally discovered. We've learned some new things. So you got an artery in there that we're going to need to address. I said, okay.
This is post the original surgery.
This is pre-surgery.
Oh, pre. Okay.
So this part's pre. I'm jumping around. I'm sorry, bro.
That's okay.
So he says to me, he says, yeah, we got to go in. He said, but I'm going to take care of the first areas that you know about and that we already knew about. But I'm going to need to take care of this artery here because we see a partial closure. It's not closed, but we can see, that it needs to be dealt with. He says, I'm not going to even charge you for that. I said,
oh, cool. All right.
I said, you're not? He said, no, I'm already in there. He says, I told you I only want to go in one time. He said, when I go in there, I need to do everything I need to do because I'm not going back. And so I said, okay. And so we laughed about it. And that's kind of exactly what happened. So when I went in for the surgery, they found some other things. And so they addressed the things they knew about, and then they addressed some things that, and he had said, they got these scopes that can go in through your groin and go all the way up into your major artery to look around at your heart from the inside out. And those cameras must be really small. And they can do that, and they can see what's going on. He says, but that's one aspect, but still nothing beats being in there and looking the real deal. So when they told me originally that I was going to have open heart, and I was like, I don't want to be cut open like a clam. He started laughing. He said, like a clam. I was like, yeah, man, you prop clam. You open up those clams and get the oysters or the goodies out of the clams as well. He says, oh, well, it's not like that, Jesus. We're in and out of there and blah, 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 blah. Well, they went in me, just like I said, like a clam. And they had to go back in after they went in. That was the complication.
Oh,
and so they did the surgery, and then they discovered while I was in recovery that one of the, I guess, is it sutures or whatever it is when they sew you up?
Right.
yeah, one of them began to leak, so they had to go back in and fix that. But like he said, he says, I'm only doing this one time. So he went back in and he fixed everything that needed to be fixed. And I was just at the rehab today, and the nurses said that I'm doing great. I saw my cardiologist. Cardiologist says I'm doing great. And so I'm really fortunate and happy. And let me speak to this hospital again. And I'm glad you brought this up. Let me give a history lesson. I'll make it quick, bro. This hospital chain was formerly Catholic Healthcare West.
Yes, you're right. Before it became Mercy. Yes.
And so, and here's a shout out to our friend, brother NCX, who's been trying to make me Catholic for years. And so he said, you're Catholic, you just don't know it yet. So it was a Catholic facility. I didn't know that. I'm just glad I was there. And the care was excellent. And the history of the hospital is a bunch of nuns from Europe came over to the States in the 1800s, bro. They still had wood. They still had wooden ships back then, and they established our hospital back then. So they had the vision to see what could be. I'm gonna try to keep from preaching here, but to see what could be, and they established themselves here, and it began to grow from there. Today, like you were stating, they're one of the top facilities in the country, and if you want anything done with your ticker, it's where you want to go. In fact, other hospitals that aren't even part of the Dignity Health team send their patients there. That's how good these guys are. So it's the care was excellent. I had one bad nurse out of all the nurses that were there, and I wanted to choke her, but that's another story for another time.
Why, is that the one that woke you up every hour on the hour?
Oh no, that was others that every 2 hours for another shot, and that got old pretty quick. Because I was in there over a month while they did everything they had to do, and I was so glad to get out and go home. And so, just moving forward, I'm rebuilding. I had no idea how your body would atrophy from simply it not being active. And so, as you know, I'm using a walker now. I call it my granny cart to get around because the muscles just went to sleep and says, oh, okay, we don't have to do anything. And I've been slowly rebuilding my strength. And I hit little bitty milestones, nothing major, but little milestones along the way, and to get back to where I need to be. And some days are great days, other days, I'm like, I didn't sign up for this shit. Where was it in the paperwork that I signed up for this? But I've always said God has a sense of humor. But my previous point, I'll go back there again. My walk through the valley of the shadow of death, because that's what it felt like. It was like I could see death. I knew death was over there. Don't go through that door, Lonnie, because I know it's on the other side of that door. Stay on this side of the door, which is on the positive, in thinking positive thoughts, hearing the encouragement from your friends and family, and staying on that, and not dwelling on the what could be and all that kind of thing. And I got a chance to see that. It's hard to describe. It's not like it was a physical door, but it was much like a door in terms of me. I knew on the other side of that particular door was another dimension where I didn't want to go yet, So that was the many things I learned. You tease me and say I need to write a book. I probably do, a book or two, but I had no idea this chapter would be a part of the book.
Folks, we're talking to Lonnie Poindexter. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I want to relate Lonnie to another guy that I've spoken to a number of times here, Alan Thomas. And I'll tell you about how I think perhaps they're similar in a way, except Lonnie's is much more immediate. But I think there are some similarities here. And thanks for watching. There are close to 32 people that are watching live right now.
Righty.
which is way very darn cool. That's Lonnie Poindexter. I'm BZ. You're in the saloon, and I'll be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Mission log. Entry. I mean, let's face it, who's even counting anymore? The Lost Wanderer is officially off course, chasing rogue rocket launches, fringe science, and things that probably violate causality. If it burns fuel, bends time, or makes scientists very uncomfortable, yeah, I'm probably going to talk about it. Every other Sunday on KLRN Radio, The Lost Wanderer, because space doesn't come with a roadmap, and honestly, I wouldn't follow if it did.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? You need to check out Mission Ready Men via Earl Big E Jackson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noon Eastern. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. I am BZ. Tonight I am with Lonnie Poindexter. He is right. Let me see if I get this correct here. I always point the wrong direction. This is Lonnie Poindexter over here. Not over here. Don't watch. I actually got that right. I am glad for everybody to be here. I'm glad that Lonnie is here. I said before the break that I spoke to another gentleman, and Lonnie seemed as though maybe he was going here a little bit, and that's kind of what I want to nail down a bit, if I can. Alan Thomas has been in here before, and you may or may not know Alan Thomas, but he's the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFO paranormal kind of guy that I have in here when I want to talk about that kind of thing. So show notes, I should say. Thursday night, I'm going to have a guy on named Dan Toth, who is a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. And he's going to be talking about I went to his conference last month, the BIG conference, Bigfoot Investigative Group. I drove 2,300 miles to get there in a rental car, not my own, only to discover that I went for this guy named Jeff Meldrum, and you'll see his photograph and all that kind of stuff when I go there. But Dan is a hoot 0.5. Dan is a fabulous guy. So that's going to be Thursday. Let's go back to Alan Thomas. Alan Thomas has CRPS, which is, I can't remember what is it, but basically it's constant, huge pain 24/7 all the time. And he got it from going into a hospital, being operated on, and then he died twice on the table. And he said that changed him forever. He had a whole host of experiences that stemmed, he believes, directly from that. He was kind of maybe sort of interested in religion before that. Now, very much a very big believer. So you were kind of going there. You didn't say anything like I died or passed on the table, but go into a little bit more depth, if you would, Lonnie Poindexter, about what happened in that scenario.
Sure. Thanks, bro. I come from a close-knit family. It's myself, I have two younger siblings, and my parents. And I'm not a spring chicken. My parents are in their 90s and still living, still active, still driving, still bossy. And one of the reasons why I moved back to California from the East Coast is my dear old dad convinced me that I need to have these surgeries done. I need to be around family because I had no family on the East Coast, no direct family anywhere on the East Coast. So I came back for that. So I just being candid, I just took one of the bedrooms. The kids are all grown and gone, grandkids or adults and in college and what have you. So it was a big empty house. So I just took one of the bedrooms, and it worked out perfectly because I had no idea what was in store for me. I thought I knew. So what you find out, and I'm a spiritual person. Let me just I'm not a Bible thumper in the traditional sense, but I'm a strong believer in the tenets of the faith. And I like hanging around people who believe thusly. And various flavors, various denominations and what have you, but the boldness is there to speak true. Guys like BZ, and Earl. And I'll just quickly mention Earl's dad, who I met when I first moved to DC and had a chance to sit at his feet, became an inspiration for me. And when I was doing some television out of Southwest Texas, in fact, I invited Earl's dad to come as a guest, and we taped some shows and so forth. Just a tremendous man and father and Christian, and you see how Earl is a chip off the old block.
Yeah, I didn't know that you met Earl's dad, that you knew Earl's dad.
Yeah, yes, brother. His dad is what the young people say, he's a beast. He is that dude.
Earl, are you listening?
So, yeah, Dad, I'm a big fan of Dad, and he came out, and we get some interesting stories for another time. The Dad experience when he came to Texas. I'll just say this. The general manager of the network that I was broadcasting from in Texas developed a crush on me. And she was the GM, and she made it known that she was going to tell everybody who came within earshot or who would listen, that she would share that with them. And so she did it at dinner one of the evenings that we were all there in Texas taping shows. And Earl's dad looked at me like, is there something you should be telling me, Lonnie? And I'm like, oh, no, man. He said, Rev, let me pull you to the side and fill you in on what's going on. But just a tremendous man, and has a wonderful organization with Stand. And on occasion, I'll sit in and listen to their weekly broadcast that they do. Plus, he is on American Family Radio.
Oh, okay.
And so he's and that was facilitated because I ain't gonna take credit for it. Well, I will take credit for it. I got the opportunity to get my own show on American Family Radio. It's the nation's largest conservative Christian radio network. So I don't know, something like, I don't know, 300 and some odd stations across the country, terrestrial, traditional, across the country. And through that association with me doing that, and I was working in and through Star Parker at the time, Earl's dad travels in the same circles that we do. And so they got a taste of Earl's dad. And well, I wasn't as prominent anymore. So I wasn't a big fish. He is still broadcasting with them. And I'm teasing. I got moved on to other things, and that's when I was doing TV and what have you. But so when that took place, and okay, here's something. One of the issues with the surgery that I had is I have short-term memory loss.
Join the club.
Yeah, you get some of that once you hit your 60s, but mine was that it was, well, it's better now, but it was so bad that even family members, I would know who they were, but I couldn't tell you their name, you know, and I'm talking about close family members. That has slowly come back, and they say it's all going to come back. And I sometimes I have my moments where I'm going, this was just one of those moments that I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you get some of that once you hit your 60s, but in my particular case. So BZ, you helped me, so keep me on track here.
No, hey, my train of thought derails nightly, every day.
Yeah. And Mike saw some of that with me even prior to the surgery. That would be age related. But this had to do with the surgery itself. So I'll move forward. With the surgery, you can have strokes. So I believe one happened during the surgery. They said I had 2. And one of them most definitely had happened during the surgery, because that's why, you know, I've got to fish around sometimes for names and events and people and stuff like that. But like I said, it's coming back. So I lost my train of thought where I was going. I was going to make a really valid point, BZ. So you're riding shotgun with me, and you're supposed to help me out in these areas when I go there. I know Mike's cracking up laughing now. He's
you said you had a couple of strokes.
Yeah.
And apparently during the surgery, and that's where you think the loss of short-term memory came from? Because my guess is it was short-term, not long-term.
Yes. Because I can remember stuff that happened 30, 40 years ago like it was yesterday. If you ask me something about like who you are, you know, how we met, what I said 5 minutes ago, those types of things, that's problematic. But like I said, I'm better. Today I was at rehab and I crossed a milestone. I was able to, and you guys tell me if I'm repeating myself here, raise my right arm over my head and keep my balance without having to hold onto the walker. That's a milestone.
That is a milestone. Now,
yeah, because before
you're not wrong. You told me that before the show.
Yeah.
No, but you hadn't told everybody here yet. So that's important.
So those are the things that you get back over time. And they said you'll get them all back, Lonnie. It just takes time. So I guess there's something associated with when they connect you to all those things, all that wires that were connected to me, and they reroute blood from your heart because they're working on your heart. They reroute blood that's going to your lungs for the same reason, because your heart and lungs are connected. And some blood is rerouted that goes to your brain. And it goes to some machine, I don't know what it's called. It's right next to you while they're doing the work on you. And then when they finish that section, they route the blood back. Well, sometimes some of the data is lost. And usually you get it back, but sometimes it takes a while. And sometimes you don't get any of it back. I'm just hoping that it's not the latter with me. The individuals that are in the class with me, the rehab class, I have a ball when I go there because it's, well, for one thing, they got some really cute nurses. And so I flirt with every last one of them. They are
Or bingo.
they are just, they're smart as can be, extremely helpful. And I know Michael's laughing because I've talked to him about this. He said he's always told me nurses make the best wives. So
Oh God.
I'm
That
inclined to
was my
agree.
starter wife.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's like
In case you get a bad one.
hmm.
And there's some of them out there too. So where was I headed with this? You took me down a path, and I just
Well, you were in rehab. You liked the nurses, and I remember in our brief little session before the show, you said,
yeah.
"Yeah, I got my right arm up there."
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I think, didn't you also say you got your left arm up as well?
I got my left arm up today. Last week, Thursday, I got the right arm. And this time I got the right arm and the left arm, but for a short duration without holding onto the walker to steady myself. And those are all memory related things. And so I'm pretty excited about that. You know, you would think they have to be something major, like, you know, I can scale tall buildings in a single bound, but just little things like that, and you're very appreciative of it. So it made me, here's where I wanted to go also, more compassionate. And I thought I was a pretty compassionate individual to begin with, even as a conservative. That people, when you see someone going through something or someone's plight is worse than yours physically, you're going to have compassion because you've been through something and you go, oh, okay, I know what they're dealing with. And so that is one of the benefits that comes from what I've been through. Because at first, I got to tell you, I was going through, wait a minute, God, why me? Why this? I thought I was a good guy. Why do I have to walk down this road? But these paths that you walk down immeasurably bring things to the forefront that you never thought about. And you end up being in a position where you can bless others. And so it's kind of like you, BZ, and with your platform that you have. And I learn something every time I listen into your shows. Every time I go in and co-host with you, I'm taking notes as well because I learned something from the experience. And so going through something like this, you benefit and you learn from it if you have the attitude to do that. And so my attitude is right. If nothing else is right, my attitude is right from this. Also experiencing what my family had to go through, because they're the ones that had to sit ringside as I went through these paces because I was in surgery, they said over 8 hours. That's a long time.
Well, that's a long time for somebody to be on their feet. And I'm guessing that you had a large series of somebodies around you for
Yes.
8 hours, not just one or two, but probably 5, 6, 7, who knows how many.
Yeah, it was a whole fleet of white coats. They were around me. And some of them would come in and, do you remember me? And I'm like, no.
No.
And then some I do remember. I remember the anesthesiologist, and I remember her. Well, she was cute. So for me,
Bonus.
that's a qualifier right there. And the doctors, obviously, I remember. And a lot of the staff I remember as well. But I told them, you know, when I left, and hey, I appreciate everything you guys did for me. Thank you so much. But I got to tell you, I don't want to see you guys ever again except in a supermarket.
For obvious reasons.
And, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see you anywhere near a hospital. And so you go through the experience, you learn from it, but you don't have to walk that road at one time.
The gentleman that I put up there is the guy that I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
If you look down below, Squatch Zone, that's the guy that's Alan Thomas.
Okay.
And that's the guy that died twice on the table. And
Yeah.
it changed him. And he also is a very spiritual kind of guy. And that's why he said just now, I've been praying for you, bro.
Oh,
Because
appreciate
he knows
that.
you. He knows about you. and he's been watching over you and making sure that things go as well as humanly possible right now. Here's the funny thing: the last time that you were on the show, and this is going to go like way back in the Wayback Machine, was August 29th of last year. And you appeared with Jeremy Hansen. And we were talking about the FBI and censorship and Facebook. And that's like, God, it's been 10 months since I had Lonnie on the show. And this is one of the things that I want to point out. And we got about 10 more minutes before the end of Lonnie's segment. Is I haven't spoken a ton of times to Lonnie. Maybe once, maybe twice a month since then. And each time that I spoke to him, because Lonnie lives with himself, he sees things every day, every moment, every second. But I see him in such a frequency that when I first spoke to you, you had you were very tired, had a very difficult time speaking. And the ironic thing is we talked last week, and I mentioned that we'd been jawing to each other for about an hour.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned that we'd had a conversation for a full 2 hours. And I said, dude, that is a complete show. That's a full BZ 2-hour show right there in the saloon if I'd been recording it. So I said, if I'd had the show streaming, we would have made a show together. And then that's when I hope that some of the bells and klaxons went off in your head. And when I said to you, each time I spoke to you, you were getting better. Now, the nurse mentioned incrementalism. And to me, it wasn't incremental. Each time I spoke to you subsequently, it was very marked, very clear. And to have spoken to you last week, and then after 2 hours, I thought that's when I figured out, okay, all right, the curtains are parting. I just got through talking to Lonnie. Maybe I can get him on the show next week. And here you are.
Yeah, you sly fox.
I think that's a wonderful thing. That is so way cool.
Yeah, let me clarify what he just stated. He bamboozled me into committing to doing the show because I'd been kind of tricked. I can't think of the word, the memory thing, but I was dreading getting back on air because I was concerned about my memory and concerned about some other things relative to my health. So I'd always been dodging around doing that. So this sly dog chatted with me long enough so he can mark 2 hours so he can say, man, you just did a 2-hour show.
I did. Okay. Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
And I said, okay. And then when we got off the phone, I'm like, what in the hell did I just do? So here we are. I know.
So I didn't feel that bad about roping you into this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr. NCX is chuckling at that as well, because he had been telling me some of the same effect that, I need to get back in the swing of things. And I just didn't think I was ready. But I'm seeing from what's taking place this evening, and again, thank you so much for allowing me onto your show and platform and your followers and what have you. I really, really appreciate that. And it motivates me to continue to get better. I am, it's just the funniest things. I like to think I'm not a vain individual. One of the things that bugged me, BZ, is I have this, I don't know what to call it. I have a zipper from here to here.
Right. Okay.
That's from stem to stern. And it used to give me the heebie-jeebies. In fact, when I was in the hospital, I wouldn't even look at it, So I finally get home, and you got to look at it now because you got to shower, you got to do all these other things. So I actually pay attention to it now. And it's all how you look at things. The surgeon who did the work would say, "Oh, that's a beautiful scar. That's some of my best work." You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, "Oh, God, look at this
It
thing."
looks like hell. What are you
Yeah.
talking about, man?
And I go back to the Young Frankenstein movie, and I go, yeah, he had a lot of those scars on him. The guy that played Frankenstein. And but you get perspective. And I'm going to quote somebody, and you have yet to have them on your show, or maybe you did. Pastor Mark Little. Have you had him on your show?
I have not. Wasn't he the dude that passed away?
No, that was Bruce Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Bruce.
You told me get that guy on the show.
Yes, he was definitely one. You guys would have had a ball together. Similar personalities. But Mark was the guy I told you. His father is the Hall of Fame great from the Denver Broncos, Floyd Little, the running back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had told me that.
Yeah, that's his dad. Well, I'm telling Mark that the scar gives me the heebie-jeebies. Now, let's put it in perspective. Mark, tremendous man, hilarious too, very snazzy dresser. Mark had his leg blown off when he was 20, 21 years old.
Holy.
Yeah, literally. When I say blown off, he was a student at USC in Southern California. As he tells the story, he went across the street to the Commons to buy some peanut butter and jelly buy some bread because he had peanut butter and jelly, but he had no more bread. And, he's living the student life, so he's got no money. He walks back from the Commons, and two guys approach and said, "Can you help us? Our car broke down. Can you help us push the car to the side of the road?" So him being a kid from Connecticut says, "Sure, I'll help you." He goes over where they are. They pull a shotgun on him and robbed him.
This was in Berkeley, though, right?
No, this was in Los Angeles.
Oh, L.A. Okay, gotcha.
So Mark, I give him the money line. I maybe had $5 or $6 on me. I give him what I had. That ticked them off. So he said, so they took the butt of the gun and they hit me with it and knocked me to the ground. I said, "Okay, Mark." He said, "I thought that was it." And then they turned to walk away. And then they stopped like they thought about it. They turned around and came back. And the one with the gun drew down on me and shot me. I'm laying on the ground. I get shot by a shotgun.
Jesus.
It was like a 12-gauge shotgun. So the gun, guns normally would kick up when you shoot them, right? And it went down instead of up. I think those were angels, quite frankly. Because he said if they hit him where they aimed, they would have blown his head off.
Oh, yeah. Or his chest.
Yeah.
And like that.
Yeah, so it hit him in his leg, and it nearly severed his leg. So now he's bleeding to death in the middle of the street in Los Angeles. The two individuals that did it were gang members. And his girlfriend of the time saw the whole thing. So she's the one that called the paramedics or the 911. So ambulance comes, they cart him off to the hospital, and he's in the hospital for I think he said 3 months, 4 months. And so they had to what was left of the leg, they had to completely sever. So some people have like a stump where they used to have a limb. Anything there. So when I meet Mark, this happened years earlier because he was in his 40s when I met him. And Mark walks today. And so I'm always fascinated with him because I know his story. I've read his book. I said, "How in the world do you walk? And you don't even have a stump?" My point being, he was determined to not be in a wheelchair. He said, I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. I'm not going to be rolling around for the rest of my life. He says, I'm going to succeed and I'm going to walk. And when he was in the hospital, he said the staff came in and what have you, and they said, oh man, you're set for life. You get on disability, you never have to worry about working another day in your life. He said, Lonnie, I told them, get me the hell out this hospital. Give me a job. I don't want a wheelchair. So he walks today because he's got this high-tech prosthesis, I think it's called.
Okay.
And that's what he walks with. So when I met him, he has a cane. He uses a cane to steady himself sometimes. And I'm walking. I can barely keep up with him. So my point being, I'm telling him about this zipper scar I have on my chest. He told me it was a medal. Oh, no, bro, that's a medal. I said, a what?
A survival medal.
Yeah, he said, it's a medal, man. He said, you should wear that proudly. And then I thought about it. I said, is that what you did? He said, yeah. He said, otherwise I never would have overcome this. Because he was a kid. He was 20 years old. I never would have overcome this tragic thing that happened to me if I didn't see it as a medal of honor to have.
Lonnie, I got to take a break, but I'm going to ask you the fateful, fruitful Fraga question, which is, could you hold on for another 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not going to say no.
No,
See,
okay.
guys,
Listen, it's up to you. I'm not pushing you or nothing like that. But I have questions and you have answers.
All right, brother.
That's Lonnie Poindexter, and I'm BZ, and we'll be right back after this. You're in the saloon. See how I did that? Was that snaky? Was that bad? Or did I have some kind of an ultimate ultra angle purpose? Be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. You have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRN You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right, you can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else that just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this, you rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm back. I'm BZ. 68 people watching live right now. Sadly, you can't see the numbers, but I can. And they're right up here. And as you well know, because who would trust a fat dude like me? I am making all of this crap up, except I'm not making up Lonnie Poindexter, who is here in the saloon. He's live. He's direct. He's Lonnie. Let me go back to a comment. I'm going to have to scroll up here a little bit before he left, if I can find it. And I'd like to have you respond to this, Lonnie. Can you see the comment down below from Squatch Zone?
Yes.
He says, God is preparing you, bro. Sometimes he has to get our undivided attention. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, you went through this journey, this travail. It literally has scarred you. But is there anything like Alan took a huge amount? His surgery, his passing on the table, changed him inexorably forever, literally forever. He's a 180 dude compared to what he was. So having entered, somebody else opened the door, somebody else pushed you through, you went through on the table. That was a journey. Some of us have similar experiences. Some of us are lucky enough to not have it yet. We all will. Is there anything that you think that you're taking away from this, or it either taught you or you came to recognize something that was not recognizable before?
Yes. Wow. That's a fat and juicy one blowing outside. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I mentioned compassion. The other thing, and I have to give props to our dearly departed brother. You mentioned him kind of in casual, Bruce Rivers. And Bruce was very good friends with myself and also Mr. NCX Group. And tremendous man. But he had a boldness about him that it was what's the word I'm looking for? Catching? If I'm going to use that. It was, if you saw him do him, you would invariably start doing him, you know?
Because he was kind of infectious that way.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. See, somebody can wordsmith for me because I can't right now. Yeah, he had that about him. It's the whole time I've known him, and we've known each other since I think junior high, and he had that about him. But when he fully enveloped what he was called to be, he had a boldness, and he would say and do things that me, quite frankly, wouldn't do. Because I just not wired that way. I'm non-confrontational by nature, unless you get me ticked off or something like that. And he had that about him. Post-surgery, that has been stirred up in me. So one of the things that he would do, of the many things, Bruce would pray for people at the drop of a hat. I don't care where we were, what we were doing, Bruce would. And you got to picture this guy. He was built like Friar Tuck. And and he had these light kind of green eyes. And when he was a young man, he was quite the ladies' man. Girls loved his eyes. And what he would do is he would pray for people. So I'll give you an example. Bruce lived in a little town in Central California, Los Banos, California, for any of you that know the state of California. It's smack dab in the middle of the state. It's a conservative community of maybe 35,000 people, maybe. That includes dogs and cats, and maybe cows and chickens and what have you. And I was with him one day, and we stopped at a 31 Flavors because it was a hot day, and we wanted to get some ice cream. Now, country town in the middle of the country in California. It could have been Texas. It could have been any place. And so I'm standing in line with Bruce to get our ice cream. And this guy walks in with a Stetson hat on. He's got Justin boots on or any of the top. This guy is a real Texan kind of guy. Brass belt buckle from maybe his rodeo days, but he's got the beer belly now, because he's just a gentleman rancher now. And so he did not fit into the paradigm of somebody Bruce would even have anything in common with. And the guy was white, and Bruce is black. So I go to the restroom, so I'll be right back. I come back out. Bruce and this guy are laughing it up, slapping each other on the back. Bruce has got the guy cracking up laughing. Next thing I know, Bruce guy has the guy's business card. He knows where his ranch is. And let me show you my truck. He's got this beautiful 3/4 ton pickup, the whole 9 yards. I said, "Did you know him?" He goes, "No." I said, "Well, how'd that happen?" He said, "Well, I asked him, could I pray for him?" I said, "That's all it took?" He said, "Yeah, man." He says, he opened up. He's going through it. And he shared with me what the guy was going through. And Bruce prayed for him. I never would have done that in a million years. And Mr. NCX Group can tell you because he knows me well. And Bruce had that. In fact, how Mr. NCX Group met Bruce, it was a similar kind of deal. So Bruce stirred that up in me. And after his departure, because we lost him a couple of years ago, but in reflecting back, I'm laying in that hospital bed because I was in the hospital a total of about, I don't know, 6 weeks, I guess. And you're laying there, you do a lot of thinking. And you come away with some things in your brain that you never would have thought of. But I think as you were stating, BZ, that God will take you to a place where you can hear him, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I heard him. So that's what's different about me now. The other thing that was different is I wanted to succeed in life. I wanted the nice car, I wanted the nice house. I wanted the trophy wife and the 2 trophy kids to go along with that, because I wanted to I wanted to be like my dad, who was my hero. And so when I saw my dad overcome and what he became, I wanted to emulate that and take it to the next level. And I did that. And then it all went to shit, so to speak. And God gave me a season of tremendous blessings financially. But I didn't read the small print because he also said, it's only for a season, Lonnie. And then that went away. That was all part of where I am today. So now I have a boldness that I never had before. And so I do just like I saw my brother Bruce do. And, you know, I want to be able to slap guys on the back and hug them and tell them after I pray for them. And so that's pretty much what I do. So that's probably been the biggest thing that I've seen. And it's so interesting that you're bringing this up because I'd never thought about this before. So here's something else that will keep me up all night going, wonder what else.
Let me ask you two final questions, if I could. And they kind of dovetail together a bit. And one is regarding the doctors, and the other one is regarding yourself. But they're both similar. The doctors, I'm guessing doctors, perhaps I should be more precise, BZ. The therapists that are treating you right now, do they have some kind of a program forecast for you? Like it's been 6 months now. Do they have something? And you mentioned when we spoke earlier about making these achievements in increments, like incrementalism. So do they have some kind of a goal for you to shoot at, say, in 9 months or a year or anything like that? Have they laid out something like, by this time, we'd like to see you here. By this further time, we'd like to see you over here. Have they indicated anything like that?
Yes and no. They probably have in the ton of paperwork that they've given me. But I'll be quite honest with you. I haven't read that stuff. You know, I don't have the patience. They probably have. But here's what they have done. They've told me, you mentioned the term incremental earlier, right?
Right.
I'm in a hurry. I guess I'm like a typical guy. You know, when am I going to walk again like a normal person? When am I going to this? When am I going to that? And what I've learned is that each time I would ask one of them, and there's a whole team of them there, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 of them. And whenever I would ask one, because, you know, I'm an old sales guy, so I'll find a way to pull information from people, trying to close the deal. It never would give me a complete straight answer the way I want it to be answered. Today, I got something that let me know this is going to take some time. I was told be patient, but I found out today those incremental improvements, raising my right hand over my head, she said those benefits 12 weeks. I went, what? For that little bitty improvement, 12 weeks? Yeah, I just found that out today. Nobody has said that before. Maybe it's in the paperwork that they gave me. I haven't seen it. Not that I've read it as closely as I probably need to. But they've told me in a way, bro, that this is a process. And then the other thing, since you laid it out here so eloquently, I found out I have a relative. It's on my dad's side of the family. It's my dad's cousin. So she's I guess, second or third cousin to me. And I found out that she had the exact same surgery that I had. And I didn't even know it. And she called me. She says, I heard about the surgery, you know, the family members, everybody knows. Lonnie, you're going to be okay. But you need to be patient, my brother.
Yeah, because that's what both you and I excel at. I excel at patience, don't you?
Mr. NCX Group. Oh yeah, he definitely excels at patience.
Yeah, he might be laughing right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's cracking up. But maybe he's in denial too. But when she told me that, and I had no idea, man. I mean, this cousin is, uh, she's in the Midwest. I'm on the West Coast. Not like we chat every day, right? She's part of the extended family, but she opened up the exact same thing that I went through, but she had it done 16 years earlier than I did. So, you know, the technology is advanced big time.
I was just going to say, you're the beneficiary, however, of whatever technology has improved since then.
That's what she told me. She said, "You're in a good place." He said, "They didn't have any of that stuff when I went through mine." I said, "You look fantastic." She said, "Yeah." She said, "But you have to be patient." She said, "You can't even rush it if you wanted to." You end up hurting yourself if you do. You got to be patient. And so that's what I do. So when I'm going down the stairs, and it takes me an exorbitant amount of time to do that, because if I'm not going down the stairs right, I'll fall. If I'm going up the stairs, it takes nearly 2.5 times as long as going down the stairs, going up. I have to be patient. But each time I go up the stairs or down the stairs, I'm noticing a small benefit. So, and here's something I'll share with you since you opened this pot of fish.
Damn door.
So, I had a dream just the other night. I think it was the day before yesterday. I had a dream, and I have big dreams. I mean, they're vivid Technicolor. I had a dream that I went down the stairs and up the stairs like I used to.
Oh,
to the point where it kind of woke me up. I'm like, wait a minute, was that a dream? And it was. And just as clear as a bell. And so little things will let me know you'll get there, but you have to be patient. And so carrying that forward and sharing with people that, you know, and I don't know who's listening in and where they are in life. You could be at a stage and going through something, and I don't know what it is. It could be something health related, could be something financial. With faith in God, all things are possible, and you'll get there. I mean, you just take a look at us, man, and we're a ragtag bunch. We come from different walks of life and what have you, but our common bond is the truth and speaking the truth boldly. And so I speak the truth boldly now. I'm not rude. I'm not belligerent, but I don't hold back either. And I think that's what our Creator wants, because his son didn't hold back. If you ever read the stories about Jesus and really read the stories about Jesus, you will find out, I'll just say for one thing, he hung out with fishermen. Have you ever been around any commercial fishermen? They are a salty bunch. And I mean that literally. And, you know, there's a reason why he hung around that type. So they were like, you know, they were blue collar for their time and era. And so Jesus spoke his mind. And when he got ticked off at those tax gatherers and so forth, and went in there and tossed tables in that temple, do you think he was being nice and kind when he was doing that? He was direct and to the point, with love, but he didn't hold back. So anyway, those are the things, and there's many others. You know, I'm going to choke you when I see you. You got me. Go down low.
That's okay. I'm going to ask you one final question.
Go ahead,
one
brother.
final question, because I know we got to wrap things up.
Yeah.
That's the physical therapy plan in the brain of Lonnie Poindexter. What are the next things up when you're recuperating a little bit more? What are you thinking? What are you planning? What is next for you, do you think?
And thank you for bringing that up. I've been reticent to you know, even go on air, and thanks to you, I've done that. The other thing I'm going to do is relaunch my platform, because I've been getting a lot of requests from people. I'm not Larry Elder. I'd like to be like Larry Elder one day, but I'm not Larry Elder. But I've had folks approach me numerous times asking me when I'm going back on the air. And so I'm definitely going to do that. I've had some nudges from folks who love me and care about me, one of which is you, the other one, Mr. NCX. And so I'm going to do that. It was a fear thing, and I didn't think I was physically able because of the health thing. But being patient, incremental progress taking place, I should be able to do it. And there'll be a new dimension added to it. I've got some help. I've got a great, I don't know what you call it. You could tell me what do you call it? The intro music and so forth.
Right. I know who that came from.
Yeah. So that was a motivator. And he's another chucklehead that I want to chuck when I see. But
chucklehead.
Because I think you two are in cahoots together, but
I very seldom speak to Mike. Not much at all.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Yeah,
look
right.
down below. If you would, I'm pointing the wrong direction. Look down below you, and do you see that comment?
Let me see if I can
It's from
scroll
Sackhead
up.
Sean. And he says, hell yes, we would love to see you back on the air again.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Appreciate that, bro.
And so what he said, I also want to emphasize, which is you always, sir, will have a spot at SHR. Always. You want to go and expand, go someplace else. You are always welcome back at SHR for any reason, anytime, guaranteed.
Appreciate that. Plus, you guys have the best bar I've ever attended for. As far as used to hang out at Sean's place when we would broadcast. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. It encourages me. I'm not even tired, man. I've been talking, and normally I have to go take a nap, but I feel good.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm going to wrap it up in about 2 or 3 minutes because I don't want to deplete everything. Because obviously, I mean, what's the point if I don't ask you like I customarily ask everybody, will you come back? Because we would all like to have you back.
Sure. I'll certainly come back, man. Anytime you need me. Anytime that you need me. And for all the listenership out there, continue to support this platform and support it in prayer, support it in just encouragement, and support it financially as well. And in spreading the news on the unique value that SHR brings to the table, and in particular, my good friend BZ and all he is and does. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And before we go, I want to point this out. Sean Lewis just came in and put a comment in here. He says, LOL, Lonnie and I killed a bottle of bourbon in a very short time in the studio one night. And that's true. That's the absolute truth. You guys killed a bottle of bourbon and I went home.
Yes.
I got through with the show and all of a sudden out comes the bourbon and I'm thinking, well, fuck me. I got to drive. I can't be doing this stuff. So, and then he's right. There it went. A finer time was had by no one, nowhere else.
That was so true. Yeah, me and Sean, man, we talked about everything and anything.
Anyway, thank you ever so kindly. I appreciate it. And I will have you back, sir.
Take care, brother. God bless.
All righty. Thanks to Lonnie. That's Lonnie Poindexter. To be honest, he and I had spoken. 71 people watching live right now. Thanks to everybody. Lonnie and I had spoken last week, and we got to an hour, and I tried to make a point, and because obviously Lonnie wasn't watching the time, I was watching the damn time like a hawk. And I said to Lonnie, because that's his name, I said, you just been talking for an hour. And I could tell that Lonnie had some really good fighting spirit inside of him. And so we kept jawing and we kept talking, and pretty soon it was an hour and a half. And then after that, I thought, do I tell him it's an hour and a half or do I wait? No, the evil son of a bitch in me decided, no, let's make him wait. Let's find out if he makes it to 2 hours. You know, after open heart surgery, a triple bypass back in December, and a few other things as well. So I figured, fuck it, you're an evil bastard anyway. Just go for it. So we continued talking, and all of a sudden 2 hours went by. And that's when I decided, you know, I see some stuff here. Now, let me tell you what I saw. What I saw in Lonnie was some amazing fortitude. This guy is a scrapper, and he's a fighter, and he doesn't give up. And he believes in the Lord. He's inspiring. And the reason I wanted to have him on tonight is not, I'll be honest, and his sciatica was killing him. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to treat Lonnie badly, because that's absolutely a wrong thing to do. Because if he's not feeling good, I do not want to make things worse for him. And just before we went on the air, and I said, you know, at any time, Lonnie, tell me you got to go, because certainly I understand. He's having a hell of a time sitting. You know, the pain goes, and like he said, the pain comes, it goes, it shoots up and down his back, his thighs, his legs. And the last thing I want to do is screw up a friend. And like Sean said just now, he looked and sounded great. And okay, that was kind of my point. And with that, I have one more thing that I want to do. I'm not going to make it the full 2 hours, but a significant passing occurred. And I want to end the show with this.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If
happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I